So I made this A4 journal cover, and I've kind of been into like making my own journals lately. So I made this A4 journal cover, and I've kind of been into like making my own journals lately, like with leather and everything. So I'm really excited because I actually ordered a couple of sample like leather panels, I guess, just to see if I would like them and potentially create some journals to put on my shop when I do my my pre-loved goodies sale, whenever that will be. Most of the things that I'm going to be selling pre-loved is journal or hobby related and handbags. I do have a lot of bags, and I really need to be selective on how much space they take in my small apartment. And also with all of the job uncertainties ahead, I really just don't have the luxury of holding on to all of these bags that I'm not even using. So along with the bags and the other accessories, I really wanted to make some like Louise Carmen inspired leather journals, like this one, but probably like the smaller sizes, like the more typical A5 Slim and whatnot. So it's just kind of been something that I've been into and looking into, as I really don't know what exactly my plans are for 2026 yet. Yes, I do have like general ideas of what I want to get into, but like overall the game plan, we'll figure it out when we get there, I guess. I'm really just trying not to stress myself out the last 2 months of the year. It's stressful as is with the holidays coming up, so yeah, I'm just gonna try and take it easy. And I thought in this video it would be nice to just do a cozy journal with me. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, so I thought this would be perfect to kind of do a journal with me, especially with the new style of journaling I'm doing these days, which I don't know, I guess it's part of the system that I want to integrate into 2026. I wanted something that was big so that it's really in my face and like kind of just a bigger visual, something that feels more like a canvas so that I can really see everything that I'm thinking about that I want to create. And yeah, so it probably sounds a little vague, but that's just because it is a little vague. I'm just kind of treating this A4 system as like as a catch-all, like business ideas for either like my XOXO Lore brand or my Lo-Fi Ghosts brand, and anything in between. Something that I will be kind of diving more into for 2026 is branding design. Branding design is a very saturated market as well. There are a lot of people who go this route, especially like independent freelancers. So it's something that I didn't really want to do because I felt like it's just too oversaturated. Like everybody is a brand designer, but I am realizing that I think that I am somebody who likes to design like holistically. Like I like to design like the whole package of something from start to finish. And when I work a corporate job, it's never the case. I'm always like working on projects that somebody else worked on here and there. And I realize that I really don't like that. Not that I have to worry about that anymore come January, but you know, like it's just something I did not really love. Branding design is definitely like building somebody's brand from top to bottom. And I do think that as oversaturated as it is, it's something that appeals to me. So with that in mind, this is also going to kind of help with brand design stuff. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I don't really love this leather, and I would get better leather pieces. I actually just got this leather from Amazon, which I really wish I didn't because I was admittedly being hasty and I got it from Amazon. Instead, I should have just I ended up ordering some different leather pieces, some like vegetable tan leather full grain pieces from a local like Canadian based leather tannery. Is that what it's called? A tannery? So I feel like that's what I need to do is I need to support like local tanneries or at least like Canadian based tanneries instead of getting it from Amazon, but I was a little bit hasty because I wanted to make this A4 journal and start it ASAP, and that's just how my brain is. I hate it. It is a little bit thin, so I don't really love this anyway for like an A4 piece. It's just very like very floppy. Anyway, I just have this cute charm here. This is from Traveler's Company. It's a little mug charm. And then right now, but yeah, see what I mean? It's like very flimsy, but it's fine. It's just to cover, it's just to like hold the books, so it's not a big deal. So the only inserts I have in here right now are just these two Midori MD A4 size notebooks. I do plan on adding a couple of more like smaller, not smaller, but like thinner booklets, because these two are quite big. And I primarily want to use these as like mood boarding and doing any sketches and like any ideas that come to mind. So these will definitely be like the creation booklets and idea booklets. But I do want to get a couple of like thinner booklets to write just notes in for business purposes and just to keep track of things. I think it'll be nice to have like a big canvas to work with, because I can also add in like any extra thing, like if I want to keep note of, like for example, this is just like something random I have on my desk right now, but like let's say I have like this packaging that I kept from a Simon's order. I like this tissue paper print. So even like big pieces like this, if I want to keep it, I can just add it to a page and then write notes in it. So I think it's nice to have kind of this big canvas as opposed to like always using smaller books for art. I think smaller books for art doesn't work for me because I like to see things on like kind of a grander scale. I just kind of set this up a couple days ago, but I did. The notebook's so big it barely fits on my camera like thing. But yeah, you can just kind of get some ideas of like how I like to set this up. Just like having a mood board on the like crinkly side, I guess, of the paper, so it's nice and smooth. And again here, just like experimenting. And sorry the lighting is really bad, but it gets dark around like 4. Or if you live in the East Coast like me, it gets dark around 3:30 sometimes. If there's no sun, if there's a gloomy day, like right now it's only 3, but it just looks dark. And yeah, so just like gaining inspo. These are actually all fountain pen swatches. I do have quite a few fountain pen ink swatches rather. So just kind of seeing what colors to play with. I really love the way fountain pen ink crinkles up. So that's kind of my like art tool of choice. Obviously I don't have like every single color that I would want, but I do have a good collection of colors I love, especially the greens and the browns. So, and this is what I mean, like even like with this, I guess, sketch, I wanted to make like a tree inspired lamp. And I added some like gold specks to it. I don't know if you can see it in this terrible dark lighting. But yeah, so even with this, like I added these little Midori notes. They're not sticky notes, but I just kind of glued them on there and then added these little tiny notes. It's nice having a big canvas to write all of these notes and then stick all these sticky notes, because you couldn't really do this in even an A5 size book. You just wouldn't have enough space for everything. And then this is like the last thing I got to, I guess, is this current swatch. I have actually not created whatever I wanted to create for this mood board. So I don't really have like a purpose to these. These are really just to be creative and to get a creative flow. And how I start though with every single idea is, as you can see, I add a mood board. And adding the mood board just kind of gives me a base of the colors I want to use and maybe the textures that I like, that maybe I can emulate. And then I just tried, on this page, I just made a swatch of like colors that are similar or that I think would work. Oh my gosh, it's so dark, hold on. I hate turning on the the actual lamp overhead lamp because it's just kind of harsh sometimes. But I think I had to because it's getting so dark. I honestly cannot stand it. So yeah, I've been experimenting with the fountain pen swatches I have, or fountain pen inks that I have. And something like this, again, I think this notebook is so big. You might not see it that well. But something even like this color, if you don't have a lot of inks, I always recommend getting the basics, especially if you want to use fountain pen inks as like a art tool, like painting tool. I like to mix the colors a lot. So this one actually is a mix of 3 different colors. So if you don't, instead of like feeling like you have to buy like exact color inks and stuff like that, I think that if you have like the basic colors, like, you know, like red and blues, greens, RGB, and like different shades of them, you can definitely mix a bunch of inks together, and sometimes they give you some really nice properties. Like this one has nice shading in it, which is why I like using inks as opposed to watercolor. It just has more of a bold saturated shading, which you can't get quite the same on watercolor, but again, this is just my personal preference. If you find like colors that are not like what you're thinking about, just try and mix them together, even adding some water, just like a little bit, just to lighten up some colors. Like this one, this pink, I thought was a little bit too bright to match this, although I think this pink works really nicely here. And I'm going to be actually going forward with these two for sure. Oh, I didn't write down the name of the inks, but I know which one they are because they're like right in front of me. But this one, like for example, it is a nice bold pink, but it's a little bit too bold, like too bright. So I mixed this one with some browns, and this is the color that I got, which is kind of cool. Because I thought like these 3, I definitely wanted some like orangey browns. I definitely do not like orange as a fountain pen color, like a fountain pen ink color. I never will write with orange, and like the closest to orange that I own is sepia, like a sepia color. I knew I didn't want to buy anything orangey, and that's kind of also why I made this one by mixing this bright pink and some browns that I had. So these 3 are going to be the ones that we're going to use. Primarily these 2. I'm not too worried about this brown. I just wanted to use it as a supplementary color, I guess. This one has some sparkles to it, if you can see it. So it has some gold, like sparkly properties, which I think is really pretty. I really, really love this color. This is Wearing Gold's Daddy Long Legs. I don't know why it's called that, but must be a reference to something. Okay, so we're just gonna go into creating something for this, just to give you guys like something to start, like somewhere to start, I guess. If you're not the type of person who can kind of like let ideas flow creatively, I would just start with some notes, like note cards, or not note cards, like sticky notes rather, or something like this, like the Midori MD Notes, which I love because it's green paper and it matches the book. And then just like have some little sketches here. That's kind of what I like to do sometimes. And the reason I like to do it on these like sticky note pads or something small like this is just because it's not going to ruin your page with too many like random sketches, because at least with like my sketchbook here, like I like to keep it kind of coherent, meaning like if I'm going to be using fountain pen inks, I want to be using fountain pen inks on the whole page. So that's why I added stuff like this here, so that it's more of like a added on element. It doesn't really clash with the fountain pen ink stuff. I don't know if that really makes sense to you, but hopefully it does. It makes sense in my brain, but I'm probably not articulating it well. Also, the other reason I like to do this is just because on the other side of the paper, obviously, as you see, there's like feathering. I think the Midori MD paper is amazing, by the way, because like the fact that it's so thin but doesn't bleed through fully or anything like that is amazing. But it is a little bit too wrinkled for my taste. So also having notes like added on like this kind of, I guess, help if that triggers your sensory issues or OCD. But yeah, again, writing on a piece of paper or sketching on a piece of paper, like a smaller piece of paper, just feels a little less intimidating. I'm not going to over-explain. I'm really going to try not to over-explain anything here because it's just, this is really just like a personal therapeutic practice for me that I hope translates into like real ideas one day. So I'm not going to put too much pressure, like if I'm just being honest, just for the sake of the video, like there's really no pressure. So I also encourage you guys to just like, if you do start an art book like this, just let your brain kind of flow. Don't be too afraid of like messing up. But if you are afraid of messing up, use like a smaller piece of paper and sketch it out first. We'll just see what we end up coming up with. Okay, so I'm not totally sure what exactly I want to go for here. I think initially I was thinking of like a candle design, like a candy candle design, something with like a candy motif. I don't know why, that's just the idea that came to my head. I did not pre-think about this. Based on these two that I sketched out, I do kind of like the shorter but longer look of this. I think it does give more of like a candle looking vibe. I thought it'd be cute to have like a charm. So I initially drew a key charm because those are kind of the inspiration pieces, but I don't know if the key charm would actually make sense for this. I think what would make sense is a little candy charm. So I kind of do like the key charm, so I might try and change things around just like a little bit. Like maybe I'll add, maybe if I add the key charm, like just doing like a quick sketch. Maybe if it's the key charm, then this, instead of this like wavy motif, sometimes it's better to do like quick sketches too, just for idea purposes. Like when I'm doing sketches and creative concepts for work, I always do like the roughest, ugliest sketches, because sometimes if you focus too much on like making it look like an art piece of art, like your sketches, you end up like really not having too many ideas because you're limited to whatever you're focusing so hard on, which is like the initial sketch. And with art and like even in design school, like they always teach you to just make really fast sketches. Like there's something that we do at work, which is like brainstorming for 1 minute, like 1 minute brainstorms. And it's really funny because like some of the ugliest sketches that we do in that 1 minute turn into like some of the best creative ideas. So the whole idea of sketching is not to make it look beautiful, but rather to bring out some creative ideas. So with this one, if we're gonna go for the key motif, maybe we just turn this into a key. I guess traditionally it looks more like this, like a real one. This is a little bit exaggerated with that shape. I also kind of like that shape. Not that it matters too much, but this type of key, I don't think, I mean, it wouldn't be a real hole. I don't envision it being an actual hole. I think it's just, the little charm would be like made of acrylic or ceramic, or I guess it could be made of ceramic. But I'm just envisioning that this is just a creative choice, not like a functional thing. I think I still want it to be a candle though. Or a trinket jar, but I think the candle's cuter. So what I'm struggling with here though is the pattern. Which, spoilers, that's something that I'm going to be learning in 2026, is I'm going to be taking some pattern making classes because I really want to learn more about like textiles and patterns in general. Essentially, I think it'll help with branding design as well, but if I wanted to like pivot into other like textile design or surface designing, it all kind of like goes together. So I think that would be a nice thing to learn, a good thing to learn. So I'm thinking like maybe these lines can just be more of an extension of this bow design. I just don't want it to look crazy. I don't want it to be like too overwhelming. I'm notoriously bad with like line drawing, which is why I think I'm not good at traditional art, because I have very shaky hands. It's probably hard to tell, and I'm trying not to over exaggerate, but I have kind of trembly hands. So it's so hard for me to draw like really straight lines. From your guys' point of view, it probably looks straight, but it could definitely improve. And so my penmanship is also very kind of wobbly if you look too close. But anyway, so that's kind of the idea with this. I want maybe like this brass plate part, or not like really brass, but I think this part would be cool as like a brass or gold plate thing. But yeah, I don't know, just be a really cute candle design? Question mark. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing with the this pattern here. Maybe I should figure that out, but a part of me just, this is not client work. Like, again, this is not something that I feel like needs pressure. So I'm gonna try and not put myself, I'm telling myself this, not telling you guys this. I'm really telling myself this because I know how I am. I get a little bit too like, I want everything to be done as if it's like real client work or something. But I want it to not have pressure. Really, this is just in art practice. So keeping that in mind and constantly reminding myself that, and that's why I keep repeating it, because the OCD in me, sometimes perfectionist in me, wants to like really flush this out. But honestly, with these, it's just a practice of, creating things that aren't digital, just something physical, something tangible, and using like paints. So, or in this case, fountain pen ink. So these are the two colors I said I would be using. The green is Robert Osher's Jade, and this beautiful sparkly pink is Daddy Longlegs by Wearingle, sorry. And it says Gene Webster here, so yeah, I think it's based off like an author series. So we're gonna try and just see what we come up with. Again, we'll do what we can. It doesn't need to be perfect. So with these shimmer inks, the glittery parts always pool to the bottom really quickly. So I always just kind of give it a quick little stir. Don't shake it like too much because then it'll get bubbly. But give it a quick stir, and then you have to kind of work quickly if you're going to be using, if you want all the like particles in it for painting. But I think we should be able to get some gold shimmers in this. So we're doing pink as the base because with fountain pen inks, they're kind of hard to overlay like light colors on top of dark. So it just makes more sense to work with light color base first and then add dark colors, if that makes sense. What I want to illustrate here is just that this is really simple. You do not have to be an artist. I see this comment and sentiment quite a lot, is that like you want to make an art journal, you want to start painting and doing all this other, you know, like hobbies that are kind of related to art, but you're afraid, you're not an artistic person, you don't have an art background, yada yada yada. I hear it a lot. I think it's very common because even for me as a designer, I don't consider myself a good traditional artist. I know like some people think that traditional art and like illustration goes hand in hand with graphic design, but it really doesn't. And I also tell other people like in my life who are interested in going into the field of graphic design that you do not need to be artistic, because graphic design is a lot more technical than people think. It can be artistic, but in real job situations, it's usually more technical. It's more about making things straight, understanding composition, understanding like colors and stuff like that, color theory, all that good stuff. But it's really not an artsy field. You definitely can be a more creative designer. I do fall under both categories. Over time, I have become a creative designer and I have become a more technical designer, just depending on the job, depending on the ask. But you don't really have to be a artistic person to be a graphic designer. And in the same vein, you do not have to be an artistic person to create an art journal. Like I want to also show you guys, like this is not an art tutorial, but I want to show you guys that what I'm doing is very simple. If you have fountain pen inks and fountain pens, or I mean, if you have fountain pens, then you probably have fountain pen inks. So, and like, maybe you're like me, I have more fountain pen inks, but I don't really have paints. I have like a couple of acrylic paints here and there. But really they were just kind of for specific projects. I've never really painted with watercolor or acrylics too much. I have in the past bought a gouache kit from like Amazon a few years ago. I still have it, but I like just don't use it really, because my mediums of choice when it comes to like traditional art is just pen, paper. I like to illustrate things like sketches, like, so really when I'm doing any kind of drawing art with my hands that's not on like Procreate or Illustrator or like a design program, I'm just using pen like this, like pen or pencil. And then I like to use Copic markers and fountain pen inks. And the fountain pen inks is kind of a new thing, like new within the last like year or so. It's just whenever I felt like I built up my fountain pen collection enough to where I feel like I have a lot of colors, like enough colors to paint with. And even with these, I only do it in like art journals and notebooks because I like the way that they crinkle up. Fountain pen friendly ink paper. But yeah, this is super easy. If you have inks for your pens, even if you only have a few, you can just play around with them in your favorite fountain pen friendly ink papers and notebooks. And the Midori MD cream paper is fantastic for this. But see, like, really easy. I mean, this isn't anything crazy, like artsy or profound. It's just like some squares. So really, I just want to encourage you guys that this is more of like an art therapy and a creative ideas kind of book. This isn't me like sharing like Picasso levels of art or anything like that. So I hope that it encourages you guys to also create. Something that I want to do more of on my channel in 2026 is make more videos like this to just encourage people to use their journals and create more. I think that we have, as a society, kind of burnt out being consumers. I feel like, especially for me, now that I'm like losing my job, I realize like how much of a consumer I have been my whole life, and I just don't think I've created enough. I need to create more for myself, for the things that I'm passionate about, and you know, that is the silver lining of losing my job and it being a struggle to find a new one, I think, is that, you know, I have more time to do stuff like this, sort of. If I'm being honest, I think I'm busier than ever in 2026 just because I have to figure things out and I have to like apply and redo my portfolio and resume and all that stuff and take classes and courses. So if anything, it'll just be more busy, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not on anyone else's clock until I get a new job or whatever. It's kind of like my time to take advantage of the time that I do have. And I want to choose creating as a way to fill my time. All right, so now we're gonna let it dry a little bit. What I like to use is this little, like portable fan. This fan, I think, is my 2025 MVP. I know that sounds stupid, but hear me out. Okay, this fan, this little mini fan is so good. I actually bought it in the summer, like whenever it started getting hot, like end of May, June, something like that. And I needed a fan because it gets very humid here in Toronto, and I'm not used to humidity because I'm from LA. And I know I say that a lot. I think if you're a regular on my channel, I emphasize that I'm from LA, and it's not even like me trying to put that down anyone's throat. It's just the reason I emphasize it is because of how different the weather situations are from LA to Toronto. I feel like it's such a struggle to navigate sometimes, and I've been here, at least on the East Coast, like I lived in New York before Toronto for like 2 years, and then now I've been here for like 2 years. So I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 years almost since I left LA, but I'm still not used to humidity, especially humidity in Toronto during the summers. I just can't stand it. So I had to buy a little mini fan, and this mini fan honestly has just it's kind of been a lifesaver for me. Like even now, I know it's winter, but I have PCOS, so I suffer from rosacea in my face, and I get really hot in my face very fast. And I wear glasses, and shout out to the girlies out there and boilies out there who wear glasses and know what I'm talking about. But when it gets humid in an area you're in and your glasses start fogging up, it ain't cute. It is not cute. So I kind of take this thing with me everywhere. I'm gonna be honest, even now, because restaurants and indoor things are still kind of warm, even if it's winter or fall. I consider it winter here because it snowed the other day, so that's winter to me. But yeah, and also this is great for beauty, like facial stuff, like skincare. Sorry, I'm like, what is that called? Skincare, because if you do like layers, you can kind of like dry the layers a little bit easier. And it's been helpful for when I'm using my fountain pen inks to kind of dry the first layer. So MVP right here, this mini portable rechargeable fan. This is not a sponsored ad, by the way, but I had to shout this fan out because it's like just everything. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but here's like some flash so you can see the sparkliness of this ink. It's so pretty in person. I wish I could show you guys like a better look of it, but the specks of gold, perfection. We're now gonna add the green, and I'm gonna use a thinner brush tip just so I can get kind of the lines a little bit straighter. This is a deco calligraphy pen, but I like to use it to like fill in gold spaces. So I'm gonna use this to fill in this little plate here, and then like some of the details. I basically use this as a detailing pen. We're also gonna do like the lining here of like the scallop shape on the lid, and then just add some more details into the bow. I'm going to do a little bit of an outline for this because the colors are like kind of pooling everywhere, and I'm actually just going to use the same green to do the outline, just to keep the colors a little bit consistent. I don't always like to do an outline like this, but just to kind of, it just kind of contains like the green strips and stuff are kind of like floating outside of this pink, if that makes any sense. So I think it just makes it look a little bit more put together sometimes. But like I said, I struggle with drawing straight lines, but that's totally okay. And this is why I love like watercolor and ink as a medium, because it's totally okay if it's not straight. All right, let's dry this bad boy up and then add in some of our gold. Okay, and the last thing that we're gonna do is add the little keyhole. And I'm just gonna use these Copic liner markers because the fountain pen inks are just gonna slide right off this gold ink. So I need something like permanent marker to get it on there. And that's it. That is our finished little candle design. And it's got lots of gold in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little art journal with me episode. Let me know if you guys like this format and if you'd like to see more of this in the future. But yeah, this was really fun to work on. I've just been having a really nice time with doing this art journal, even though I just started on it, obviously. But I think it's just kind of a nice break from everything. I haven't been traditional journaling in a while, and I feel like I kind of need the boost of inspiration at this point in my life. So this has been kind of a welcome addition to the journaling fam. I know that I didn't include this art book into my 2026 lineup video because I honestly just wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do with this at the time I recorded, but it is something that will be hopefully a staple in the new year, as well as using like my regular Louise Carmen book to kind of keep me organized, like I said in the video. But with this is just kind of a nice like side project. It's not dated, there's no pressure. I mean, if this is like as far as I get with this book by this time next year, then so be it, kind of thing. Like there's really no pressure, but honestly it's just been doing something for me to see all of this stuff like big, like just really blown up. I don't know, it's just kind of nice. And also I do need something for like the branding design, like mood boarding and stuff like that, although I do have my regular size notebooks as well. But yeah, so this has just been another experiment, I guess, to throw into the fire. But that's kind of the fun of all of this. It's doing something for me, and as long as it's doing something positive for me, then that's really all you need. That's really all I need. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.